Here we are for the second instalment of this saga of the Vauxhall Insignia. Where we left it off last time, we took an Incylinder waveform using pressure transducer connected to picoscope. We are getting something which resembles this. Compression towers. This represents from here to here 2 revolutions of the crankshaft, 1 revolution of the camshaft, so 1 full cycle of the engine. So 0 degrees, basically we're at top dead centre on a compression stroke. 180 degrees, bottom dead centre on an expansion stroke. 360 degrees, top dead centre on an exhaust stroke. So, and then intake, compression, and then it repeats itself. What we noticed was this this trough in the intake stroke, which I identified as being unusual because it shows that the valves aren't opening on the inlet stroke until we calculated 60 degrees after they should do. So this is a twin cam engine and it's driven by a timing belt. The problem with this engine is down to camshaft timing. Right, I'm going to start stripping down this timing cover to get access to the where I need to pin this engine up to check the physical timing. What I've seen here straight away is paint marks on the pulleys. Don't like that. There's timing tools for these engines. The timing tools are there for a reason. Timing tools are pins and they go in the camshafts. Right, so here we are, we've got the bottom pulley off now. Basically this tool here is the time and locking tool for the crankshaft. That goes onto here, in about that position there. I take this bolt out of the oil pump here, back up there. Take this bolt out of the oil pump here, and there's a pin goes through there and bolts into here. So we need to turn the crankshaft. As you can see, there's 2 bolt holes here which line up with the bolt holes on the crankshaft, and this pin this locating pin here locates into here. So I need to turn this crankshaft about 180 degrees to get this lined up. There now. There. So that's the crankshaft timed up there. Next thing, to go up top and see if the camshafts are lined up. That's the hole that the exhaust cam locking pin goes into. I can see down the hole, I can see the camshaft, and I can see the notch in the camshaft where the pin locates into. So I'm happy that the engine's in the correct position. I'm going to insert the pin into there and then check the inlet cam to see if that one lines up too. So we've got, as you saw, we've got the crankshaft pinned up down here. As you saw also, I can see the notch where the cam pin goes into. So let's see if it'll screw in. That doesn't feel like it wants to go in. So I'm going to grab a spanner, see if I can manipulate the camshaft while the crank's still locked up, because as I say, it could be just a tiny bit out. There's not much movement on it because the crank's locked up. No, it's not going to go in. So I would say we might have a bit of misalignment with the crank and the cam. I'm going to alter the crankshaft. I'm going to take the pin out of the crankshaft so that I can move the cam to see if we can get this to line up. That's the pin out the crank there. Let's try again. Go. It looks like it wants to go in a clockwise position. There we go. Now that is locked where it should be. Absolutely dead. Right, before we go downstairs again to have a look at that crank position, let's see if the inlet cam will lock up. How this timing setup works on this engine: the belt comes from the crankshaft up onto the exhaust cam, which is this camshaft here. This is the fuel pump here. The inlet camshaft, which is here, you can see the bung in the end here, is driven by gears between the two camshafts at the back. So there's a gear on the back of the exhaust cam, and that gear is meshed with a gear on the back of the inlet cam. So if, in theory, these two camshafts shouldn't be able to get out of time unless somebody's taken the camshafts out, or there's been an issue with the gears on the back of the cams. So drop that in there now, and straight away I can feel that does not want to go in. So that kind of proves the theory about the inlet cam being out of time, which we saw with the with the scope captures. Now I've got this exhaust cam locked up. I need to go back downstairs. We'll raise the car up and we're going to have a look how far this crankshaft is out of time as well, because it not only looks like we've got a timing issue between the two camshafts, but also we've got a timing issue between the crankshaft and the exhaust cam as well. Excuse for the shaky camera. I'm using the I'm just holding this. Now, as you can see, the timing tool is bolted onto the crankshaft, so it bolts through one of the the holes that the crank pulley bolts onto, and this is the location tag here. There's a dimple on the crankshaft where you locate. Now, as you can see, that's the hole that the pin has to go into, and look where the crankshaft is. So I've moved that camshaft a slight, very slightly, and it's knocked the crank out, I would say, at least one tooth. So the belt has been put on wrong. It looks like the cams have been timed up wrong. So I think it's time to get this engine, well, get the top end of this engine stripped off, get the belt off, and we'll take it from there. So again, very crude drawing this time of the cam belt layout. We've got the crankshaft down here, we've got the camshaft sprocket here, we've got the fuel pump here, tensioner and guide. As you notice, it's a twin cam engine, but it's only driving one camshaft. It's actually driving the exhaust camshaft on this engine. Now, again, what we done was we put the locking tool in here, which was the ring with the tag on the end of it, and we locked it up into the oil pump. But what we couldn't do was get the timing pin into the exhaust cam because it wouldn't locate. So we moved this timing a little bit further forward, which would allow us to get the pin in here, which then proved that the timing between exhaust cam and crankshaft was in fact out of line by, I suspect, about one tooth of the belt. We noticed there was a little rubber bung right next to the exhaust cam there, which is actually the inlet camshaft. And then we tried to put the other timing pin into the back of the inlet cam here, and it wouldn't locate because the inlet camshaft was pretty far out. Now, how the two camshafts are timed is at the other end of the engine, the gearbox side of the cylinder head. And what they basically do on the back end of the engine, they have a gear system. So this is the exhaust cam, this is the inlet cam, and they're basically meshed together with toothed gears. So if these two gears are out of time, this will knock the timing out between the exhaust and the inlet cam. So if these camshafts have been taken out of the cam carrier during the repair for the broken timing belt, they may have been put back in out of time, or I would imagine there's going to be keyway drives on the end of the shafts where these sprockets bolt on. Maybe the keyway has failed. So next thing to do is strip this engine down. First of all, we're going to get the timing belt off, and then we'll strip down all of the bits and bobs off the top of the engine to allow us to remove the cam box. Now we can inspect the camshafts. First of all, we're going to have to remove this engine mount to access the tensioner for the timing belt. The engine mount sits over the belt, so this is the first thing that's going to be taken off. To do that, we're going to need to support the engine from underneath, so I'm going to raise the car up and put the engine onto some kind of support. And there we go, we've accessed the timing tensioner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to release the tension off the belt and then remove the belt itself. Now the belt's removed, place the engine mount so that we can raise and drop the engine. Now it's time for me to remove all of the wiring harness and pipe work from the top of the cylinder head, remove the injectors and the fuel rail and fuel pipes, and then that will then give us access to be able to remove the cam cover. So here goes. Now time to remove the injection equipment. First of all though, I'm going to give the area around the injectors and area around the fuel rail a clean, because we don't want any contamination getting inside of the injection system. So first of all, give it a quick blow off, get rid of the larger debris, and then I'm going to give it a clean with brake cleaner, so clean away anything even smaller bits. Here to cap each injector and also cap the injector pipes as well, so there's no chance of debris getting into the fuel system. notice what I did there was just slacken the injectors off, lift them a touch and then put them back in. Reason being is I want to give them one last clean around the base of the injectors so that no debris falls into the cylinders. Protection going on the nozzle. Now I think we're ready to remove this cam box. A couple of things to remove before I take the cam box off. I need to take the oil feed to the turbo, which is fed from the cam box. I also need to take this cam sensor out as well. Now it's going to be off with the cam box. There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 bolts holding this down. Excuse the shaky hand, I want to give you a quick walk around this cylinder head. This is the timing sprocket that the timing belt was running on. The cylinder head's upside down at the minute. So this here is the exhaust camshaft. As you can see, we still have the timing pin that are screwed into the camshaft on the engine in place. And you can see that timing pin coming through the casing. And what it does is a notch out of this disc here that it locates into. So this is the exhaust camshaft, which then goes to a toothed gear at the other end of the cylinder head, and that toothed gear is meshed with a toothed gear on the inlet camshaft, and this is the inlet camshaft here. And and before we couldn't get the pin through into the inlet camshaft, so let's try again. I'm looking for the notch in the camshaft, and as you can see there, I don't know if you can see it, can you see it? The notch in the camshaft, I can from here, get some better light on it. The notch in the camshaft is not If you notice, there's a split in there. Basically what that's for is it's to reduce chatter from the gears. Pretty damn tight then. would appear that the exhaust camshaft comes out this way and the inlet camshaft comes out this way. To be fair, there's no need to remove these. All I need to do is retighten them. I'm going to have to remove this one because I need to clean that hole up there. I don't want to get any debris on the camshaft. Okay, what I've done off camera is I've cleaned this hole up. So I've got the timing pin now, that goes in nice and easily. I'm going to wind that in. What you'll see now is both camshafts are locked with the timing pins now. So these pulleys can be refitted on the back. There's no keyway sprockets on these timing pulleys. So either has the cam spun? Possibly. There's no real evidence that it has. The cam may have spun on the sprockets, but I doubt how tight they were. It may have spun, or has it just been installed wrong? I don't know, but the inlet cam time was definitely out of time, which was the cause of the issue. Also, the crankshaft to exhaust cam timing was wrong too, because the belt was out. So we'll rectify that. What I'll do is I'll once again take another reading of the in-cylinder pressure waveform, so we can then compare what good looks like, so compare the difference. So thanks for watching this installment. I think this, like I said, I thought this was going to be a trilogy. There's going to be a third part to this, which will be basically rebuilding it and retesting it. So take care. Thanks for watching.